Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, sorry for the delay of 5 minutes. So, it has always been a pleasure to welcome each one of you on behalf of this Spectratix Knowledge Series. Most of you know that this initiative is something which we have started with a very simple goal, that is to bridge the gap between what we learn in academics and also to hear more about the real world industry advancements. So today's session is particularly exciting because for obvious reason, because we are exploring a space that is rapidly, I guess, transforming the pharmaceutical landscape. That is AI in drug discovery. What once took years of trials and errors, I guess now everything is getting being accelerated through use of data, algorithms, intelligent systems, etc. So, with respect to both students and professionals alike, understanding how AI is being applied in drug discoveries, I guess it's not longer a optional subject. It has become a very big, it has become essential for each one of us. So let's see. We can see from whatever discoveries are happening at this rapid rate. It is reshaping how we identify the targets, how we design these molecules, and even how we predict the outcomes in terms of the time frame in the development life cycle. So I guess this throughout this what the purpose of this session is that we aim to give you not just an overview but also from a practical perspective on how AI is being used and where the opportunities lie for each one of us, especially not just from a fresher point of view also, but also from a point of view of who are already in the industry. It is also very much important that it's a new concept that has come up, so we all need to be aware and we should be knowing these things. I'm very happy to have Dr. Rachna Nagar ma'am with us, who is the resource person for today's session. She is a PhD trained expert in molecular and human genetics and is currently the scientific manager life science for Partex.ai. She has been driving the application of AI ML to therapeutic development. That's her role in that's her current role. I guess she has more than 17 years of experience in genetics, oncology, drug discovery, where she bridges deep scientific knowledge with cutting edge technology. She has successfully led many AI-driven life science projects in antibody engineering, biomarker identification, clinical trial prediction, providing essential scientific validation for these solutions. So her foundational experience includes 5 years of postdoc research in oncology at Stony Brook University and 2 years of novel drug discovery at Lupin Pharmaceuticals. So combined with expertise in molecular biology and both in vitro and in vivo experimentation, so she is the right person to guide us through this entire drug discovery process using artificial intelligence. As always, only thing that is expected from each one of the participant is to stay engaged, ask as many questions as possible, and make the most of this learning experience. So, with that, it's over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Sudhir, and apology to all the listeners. For some reason, my camera is not working, and I'm so sorry that I could not, interact with all of you like in a very, very in silico manner, but still being in in person. But thank you, Sujit, for inviting me. Thank you for the great introduction, and I'm happy to be here to talk about what I do at Partex and how the invent of AI is accelerating the discovery of modern therapeutics. Before I want to make this talk engaging, so guys, please bear with me with all the questions that I'm gonna throw and all the polls. I want you to understand it. I want you to participate in it. So with that, I'll start with a poll only, rather than a thought experiment. I would say that I want you all to imagine that you have a magic wand, and yes, of course, like the Harry Potter wand, and you want to fix one of these issues, like the insane cost of drug development, or the time it takes, or the high failure rate, or you want to fix all of these above. And I'll give you a second to poll if you can. You can put the answers in the chat. Um, yeah. So, Sujit, can you help me out to say how many of them have opted for what all like different options came in? Because I can't see.
Okay, 1 second. So most everyone has opted for D.
Yeah, and you guys, all of you are absolutely correct. It's all of the above. And here's the shocking part that most of us do not acknowledge well, I would say. That despite all our technology, we have like whole human genome being sequenced, we have developed CRISPR, we had so many of transcriptomic layers from and metagenomics and so many different omics and everything. But still, drug discovery has actually been getting slower and even expensive, I should say, over the period of time. And we have a name for this, and that is called Room's Law of drug discovery. And the fun part is, if you notice, Room's Law is something which is similar to Moore's Law but spelled backward. And not only it's spelled backward, it's actually the opposite. Because according to Moore's law, while computers were doubling in power every 18th month, drug discovery is what it is doing. It is doing exactly the same, and that's the major crisis, and that is what we all need to solve when we are together. So let's look at this journey, and I think most of you are aware of that just to bring one new medicine to the patient, it takes like 12 to 15 years. I think it's almost the same time we have in school, right? And over $1 billion of dollars. And the in spite of all this, the brutal truth is that all these time, all these money and the effort, after all of these, 9 out of 10 drugs fail in the clinical trial. And but you see, we can't imagine that, and this 9 out of 10 is 90%, but we can't imagine that 90% of the airplanes that are manufactured gets crashed, or 90% of the bridges that are engineered gets collapsed, right? And we don't accept this thing in engineering, but why are we doing it in medicine? I mean, it's really been decades, right? So let's have a deeper look of where this drug fail and why do they fail. So here you see the drug, they don't just work. They don't produce the intended effect in humans. Maybe we picked the wrong target. Maybe we misunderstood the biology. So it's all about the clinical efficacy, maybe. Or the toxicity. The drug worked, but it causes too much of side effect, and that was so severe that the risk was outweighed the benefit. And then there could be pharmacokinetics. The body is breaking down the drug either too fast or it never reached the right location where it should have reached. And this one is also one of the most critical parameter, which is commercial failure. Maybe a competitor got there first, or maybe the market changed. Now you have too many oncology cases, then respiratory disorders, so on and so forth. I mean, but the key question is, if we really want to understand what is the main reason of the failure of the drug, I think it is lack of efficacy. 40 to 50% of drug fail because they simply don't work in humans. And half of that failure happened not because we couldn't make the molecule, but because we did not understood the biology well enough to pick the right target in the first place. So this tells us something very profound. Our biggest problem isn't the chemistry, it's the biology. And look at this mind boggling complexity of life depicted by this image. Um, and I think these facts are all clear to all of us, but then just to reiterate for the audience who are students and you try to understand the complexity of human biology, we have 3 billion base pairs of DNA. And if you really want to print that out, it will fill 200 phone books, and 20,000 different genes. And the complexity gets even more complex, that all these 20,000 genes, they produce something like more than a billion protein forms by different mechanisms of splicing, post-translational modification, so on and so forth. And then they interact, you know, in vast network signaling pathways, metabolic pathways, regulatory pathways. It's if you think it's like trying to understand the global economy where every person, every company, every transaction matters, right? And then now there's another thing, which is like the data flood from all these genomics and the transcriptomics and the metabolomic studies. Uh, is does anybody have a question? I hear a sound. If you have a question, please go ahead.
She had asked, she was not able to see the screen. I guess it's the issue is from her side.
Oh, okay.
No issue. Please continue. I will reply to the message.
Okay. Thank you, Sajid. So, yeah, I was talking about the data flood from the various omics platform. So I'll just quote an example. UK Biobank, alone, it contains some deep genetic and health data from 500,000 of people, and if I think it would be around 21 petabytes of information. So you imagine we have this plethora of information in front of us, and frankly, no human can analyze this manually. We need computers, and just not simple computing power, but like, more of intelligent computing to solve this data flood. And here, where the AI steps in. Now, think of AI as a robot or a scientific robot, but definitely it's not taking over your job. It is just helping you to solve your problem faster from years, like from so many years to maybe a couple of years. So, what it does, it identifies the pattern.
Excuse me, ma'am. 1 second, because many are saying this screen is not visible.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Is everyone facing this issue?
I'm able to see the screen.
Okay, so 3, 4.
You want me to reshare?
No, ma'am, it's not at, I guess. Okay, continue, because majority are saying it's visible for them. 3, 4 of them. So if anyone is facing that issue, please rejoin. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Please continue.
No worries, Sajid. Um, so yeah, what AI is doing, it is finding patterns, and by finding patterns, meaning it can spot correlations in these huge, massive data that I was talking about, that basically none of us can see or can connect. It can find small dots and connect the links. Then second, what it does, it iterative and federated learning. So iterative learning is a part of machine learning where it trains itself. Well, it gets the information from us, from all the data sets that we have, over and over and over again, and then it learns it. It tries to find a pattern. And then there's a federated learning concept, which is actually most suited for hospitals and research institutions, where you can have a collaboration on the AI models. And without even sharing the sensitive information that you have or that you hold, AI can still learn and train its model without ever actually seeing the real data. So it is very important federated learning concept when it comes to this sensitive informations about patient and basically health records and stuff like this. And third, what AI is bringing to us is it's making the predictions faster. So it is kind of simulating years of experiments in lesser time, in some days rather. And the most famous victory here would be the AlphaFold 2, I would say, from DeepMind. And I'm very sure all of you are very well aware of it. So as I mentioned previously, we have so many millions of proteins, but when you look into the databases like protein databases, you'll only find couple thousands of protein structure being crystallized. And so if you have a lesser understanding of a protein structure, definitely you'll have a lesser understanding, or you'll take more time to figure out how that protein can be targeted in any therapeutics. So AlphaFold, what they did is something really amazing, that for 50 years, when predicting the 3D structure of a protein right from its sequence was a challenge, now you can kind of predict the structure in very simple, like in few minutes. It's not few minutes, yeah, but at least less than an hour, I would say. So before we go further, I would like to give a brief introduction of the AI, so that we are all sure that we are on the same uh, platform. So AI is a science and a set of technologies, I would say, that mimics and sometimes actually exceed the human intelligence in very, very specific context. So, and machine learning. So, when we talk about AI, we talk about machine learning and deep learning and neural networks and now generative AI. So, these are basically the various subfield of AI. So, what machine learning is basically, it allows. Is anybody have a question? Please, they can ask right away. Okay, I think I'll
Uh,
go. Yeah,
can you reshare the screen, because some of
yeah,
them are
sure,
not
sure,
able to.
sure, sure, sure. Is it visible?
Actually, the issue is that majority of them are seeing, but some of them are not able to see it. Okay, ma'am, please continue. So the issue seems to be
Okay. So, yeah.
sorry again.
No, no.
Hi, ma'am. Hi.
Hi.
Can you go this slideshow there? It
Yeah,
will
yeah.
show full.
I'm just doing. It's taking a second. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what machine learning basically does, it allows computer to learn from the data, and think of it as as a. So I have presented here two examples to explain machine learning better, which are basically the subtypes of machine learning: a supervised machine learning and an unsupervised machine learning. So in supervised machine learning, you feed the machine with the labeled set of data. So you have a bunch of vegetables together, and you have labeled it that, okay, this red is tomato, this orange is carrot, this is bell pepper, and you have fed the information that how a tomato, carrot, or a bell pepper looks like. Now, when you have a real scenario where you have to test from a given set of a basket containing those vegetables, the machine has learned what you have taught it, and it's able to predict, very nicely what these different vegetables are. It's a very simple definition, but think of it in a very complex concept where you have a lot of genomics data, and you just so I'll come to it in bits later, but just try to understand how this supervised and unsupervised learning works, because all these different kind of models that a machine learning can adapt to helps in understanding different biological problems. And then there's a different concept of unsupervised machine learning, where you are not giving the labeling to the data set. So what it is doing, it is finding patterns of its own and it's like discovering the segments, each individual segments, without being told what they are, and then able to use the artificial intelligence and categorize into different categories. Now it does not know whether it is bell pepper or a brinjal or a onion, but it is, see how greatly it has clustered. So it only finds pattern and divide the data into like categories or clusters. And then comes the concept of deep learning, which is kind of a more advanced version, where we are using the artificial neural network. So it's basically function or is inspired by just like our human brain, and it kind of weigh the importance of different inputs, and is able to manage the bias very much automatically. So now you just give it everything, a whole, whatever you can give, a complex set of data points, and then it's able to identify or pick the exact signal and give you an output that okay, this data set means this. Like in this example, given a set of vegetables, and it has picked up that this particular thing is tomato, if you ask. So for biology purpose, think of deep learning as a pattern finding machine that can look at million of data points, gene sequences, be it gene sequences or protein sequences or clinical record or pathophysiology of the disease, and then it finds connections. So this kind of machine learning models are very, very important when you do complex discoveries, like you want to identify a target, or so you have so many data points, the networks, the gene expression, protein expression database, and so on and so forth. It's of great help over there. So what are the, where all these different AI applications being used in biology? Biology, I think, from everywhere. From understanding fundamental biology to discovery new drugs, clinical trials, agriculture, so on and so forth. I think in almost every science, life science, be it biology or agriculture or every geography, so geography or anything, any where you can use the AI, because the main funda of the AI or the artificial intelligence is you feed a good and a correct and an organized data set, and it can predict, it can connect the small dots, the small variations that we are not able to predict very meticulously, and give you the answer that you can that takes usually years to figure out. I'm just expanding a bit its role in, especially in drug discovery, because that's what we are talking today. So you have the protein sequence, we have different models like AlphaFold, Rosetta Fold, so many. These are all protein language model, because it has understood the language of protein, how one amino acid can be arranged to the next, which is deliberating, which is promoting any protein affinity or its functionality, and it's able to produce a good 3D structure of the same. We have so many input sequences being used as an embedding in the machine language model. It does a lot of neural network analysis, and it's able to predict what that particular protein can function in a cell. And then there are more things, like we can have the information of the structure, the function, and everything, and can design a molecule which can aid in drug discovery. So there are so many companies, even our company as well. We are, designing antibody and small molecule just by either identifying the target by ourselves, or if the client comes and asks for okay, you design this for us. And then there are advancement in the medical diagnostics, in imaging. You are able to pick signals much more cleaner and neater, and I would say earlier, for some very, very serious disease. And it's also helping in clinical trial optimization, and so on and so forth. So before let's take another poll. And this is basically, it's not a poll, it's basically to understand where we actually stand. So do any one of us still think or believe as of now that AI designed drug is actually capable of outperforming um, all those human design drugs that we have been doing since ages, especially in clinical trials. So some of you may think yes, some of you may think that still, maybe. But for this particular question, I would say that just keep this the answer in your mind, and I actually want to show you what actually is happening. And I will show you with this example of rentocertin. And every time I show this example, I feel really very elated. It's developed or underdeveloped. I think it's still under development, but it is started by In Silico Medicine. And it is a drug where both the target identification and the compound which targets that particular target was discovered by using AI. And what they have done, they have used their Pandaomics platform, their AI biological engine, where they have analyzed vast data sets, and they identified TING, which is TRAF2 and NCK interacting kinases. And it is a very important, what do you say, it's a connecting point in targeting the pathophysiology of pulmonary fibrosis disease. And it's quite a deadly disease of the lung, and there really currently is no good treatment except from some corticosteroids and anti-inflammatory and so on and so forth. So they chose a very interesting disease for sure. Then they used their Chemistry 42 platform, which is a generative chemistry engine platform, to design the molecule or the candidate or a drug for this particular target. And the most important thing is, normally this would have taken them, I think, 5 to 6 years or maybe 7 years sometimes. But just from everything for them, it took only 18 months from target identification to preclinical candidate stage. And this compound rentocertin is currently in advanced phase 2 trials in US and China. And if successful, it would be the actually first AI drug on the market. And we all are actually, the whole community, I believe, is kind of like hoping that it works, because not only is to flaunt that AI has done something wonders, but it's also because it would be a very promising drug for the indications like IPF, which is complex and which have a high unmet need. So coming back to your question, the answers to your question. So even if for those who have thought about not yet, I would say stay tuned, and the future is really arriving faster than you think. And rentocertin is not just one example. I mean, this slide is basically deals with how rentocertin was, developed. And I think I can skip this for the time being. But there are many other examples also where drug discovery can be accelerated through the use of AI. And let's come to this fun time with. I want you to think of a word. When I say serotonin and nerves, I want you to think of an organ that comes to you. So just unmute yourself and can just speak out. Which organ do you think? No? Nobody?
One answer is there in the brain.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very sure all of you would have said or thought about brain. But now I am changing my question, and I'm saying that I want you to find a gold mine with the same words anywhere else in the body except for brain. You can't use the word brain. Where would you go? And I'm sure most of you would be confused. Some of you might know the answer, but I'll just quickly go to the next slide, and the answer would be gut. Now, you can think that, okay, Yes, somebody has a question.
No, the answer was there. Gut
Yeah.
was there.
Yes, that's great, and thank you. And that's our enteric nervous system. We have 500 million neurons. That is actually more than the spinal cord, which is found in guts. And it actually produces 95% of our body's serotonin, and it has its own immune system. So we always used to think about, and we have always used this word so casually in everyday's life, that it's my gut feeling. Actually, it's now have been realized by the scientists all throughout the globe that it's actually a mini brain. And imagine how we have developed ourselves. I mean, we already know what we are discovering now. So it's something really great. So human have specialities. We are trained to see the world through one lens. But what AI is doing on top of it, it does not have any specialty. But what it does not have a departmental blindness. So if you go to a doctor will treat a brain doctor would only look into the brain. A gut doctor will look only into the gut. And there's what we call departmentalization. So what AI is doing, AI is just not using this departmental blindness. Rather, it has its own systemic vision. So let's look at a drug that traveled actually 2 feet down the body, and that is why we were playing this game before. So actually, I'm actually proud to present this slide because we had a collaboration with Sanofi quite some time back, and they had their drug called Capsuroid, which failed in Alzheimer's trial. Not because it has safety concerns, because it was not efficient enough. I'm sorry. So what we tried to do, we used our in-house indication expansion discovery engine, and we found, or rather the AI that we have used, it found a connection with the gastrointestinal disease area. And then this was successfully outlicensed to First Wave Biopharma for gut related disease, and it's almost in clinical phase 3 now. So what we did basically, we know that this particular capsuloid, the drug, it was a 5-HT receptor agonist. So we ran through our engine, which includes biological validation. That is, there any evidence this target matters, in other disease. We also predicted the clinical trial. If it is tried in this new disease, what would be the chance that it will work? We also looked at the market potential, that what kind of market it will have. Is there any real need? And then we generated on all these bases AI score, and across so many different indications, and then prioritize those indications on the biological validation using the publicly available data sets basically. But again, the connection was generated by AI, and we were able to connect its use to the gastrointestinal disease. So this is how we kind of drug repurposed. So there are a lot of drugs in pharma industry which lay in the shelf. We call it like I think dead assets, or shelved assets basically, and they are there for various reasons. Not because they are toxic or they are bad. They are good molecules, but they did not show the correct efficacy in the disease they were designed for. Or there was a strategical change. Suddenly the market did not had a correct there was no correct market for that particular drug to be launched, and so many other factors that makes those drug lay in the shelf of pharma industry. So AI can actually use some of those assets, can access it, can visualize its role across different indications using the publicly information. And there's a lot of information available. We have networks, we have pathway data, we have disease data, we have gene network ontology data, so on and so forth. And then just simply connect the dot and can give you, voila, that's your new indication. Why don't you try in there? So that's that's an example I wanted to show you of how AI is helping in real world. And now I'll move to another poll for you, and that would be like, what is the costliest part of drug discovery? Whether it is identifying the target, validating that target, designing a drug, and doing the validation for a particular indication, preclinical validation, whether in vitro or in vivo, or clinical trial. And I'm sure all of you will agree or would answer this question by selecting E. And clinical trial is actually the costliest. It accounts for like 60 to 70% of the total cost of development. So can we simulate the trial, and can we just help there using AI? And the answer is yes. This is another slide that I have used from one of the projects that we handled at Partex, where we helped a client understand what they can change across the enrollment number, trial duration, number of sites, to increase the probability of their drug in the indication they were trying to study. So what we did, we just simulated, like it was 1.2 million hypothetical trial parameter. We used something like 386 different clinical trial parameters that encompasses from disease feature, drug feature, and trial features, and then done the simulation on it to predict that, okay, if you have 25 to 35 clinical site, that would be optimal for you. You should run a trial for approximately 285 weeks. And of course, these are all based on the historical data set that we had for the clinical trial, and we had a huge library of that data set. So this is an example of how AI is helping in clinical trial prediction. Now let me show you another beautiful example of end-to-end AI. And this was actually published this year in February, just 2 months back, in Nature Precision Oncology. And what researchers are trying to do here, they developed something called Kinetics Index. Kinetics Index. And it's an AI model that integrates basically multi-omics data from liver cancer patients. So what it is doing is, it's kind of classifying the patient into subgroups. So some patients, they have high kinetics scores. So I'll just explain in short what is kinetics. So it's basically the isonucleotidization of a lysine residue. So it's kind of a modification in the amino acid. And what we have seen is, patients who are having high score of this modification, they exhibit significantly worst overall survival. So all they have to do is, they have to just teach the machine about this. So that's exactly what they did. They classified the patients having high kinetics scores, that they do poorly, and then they have another low scores where this index or the kinetic index was low, and those were the patients that they are doing better. So they classified like that: good, better doers and poor doers. And so what it did, it helped in understanding who needs aggressive treatment. And the second thing, they also try to identify the key genes which are driving these differences. So why a person has a low kinetic index, or why it has a high kinetic index. They again did the machine learning, and they found that the CYP2C gene and G6PD gene, they are the most important prognostic markers for this. and these were associated with progression of the liver cancer, meaning of those who are having high gynic index. And third, it screens the drug for these target, the novel 2 identified target, CYP and J6PD. Again, they used machine learning model for that. And then they prioritized candidates compound by doing the docking and simulation and so on and so forth. So that was a complete framework where not only they stratified the patient into subgroups, and they also discovered drugs where one group can be treated well or treated with precision, I would say, and all powered by AI. So this actually brings me to the concept of one size fits all, which is because what they actually did is, and this is a major drawback also in our regular pharma industry, is that when we design drug, we are unable to differentiate between the subgroup of the patient it actually will work. So the slide actually described this phenomena. We had this drug in the market for a very long time, which is called Bidil. This was for heart disease, and they were very good for the African American, but not for the white population or the Asian population. And then there was second drug, clopidogrel, which was used for the prevention of stroke. And again, it was very population specific. It was very effective in East Asian population, but not in the African or the European population of European descent. And then there was also another drug, and these are just few examples, and there are a lot many other examples like that. This drug was for epilepsy, carbamazepine, and I'm very sure this you definitely would remember because it was very common. And it was safe for Europeans, but it has a high risk in Chinese, Japanese, and Malaysian populations. So, what do you think that these so-called gold standard drugs, they had drastically different effect on the based on the population of patients? That to area specific. So, what was it? Just the climate or the lifestyle choices that they had, or was there any genetic variations that changed how the body processes the drug, or maybe that variation was there in how the clinical trial was originally monitored and reported? And the answer is definitely the genetics, that is the B. And this slide explains what I was trying to show you. Panel A shows that there's a group of individuals. It's a conventional medicine that we all talk about. Everybody with the same disease gets the same drugs. It's like every same shoe size, and it works for some, but many are left, and they had shoe bites or blisters and so on and so forth. And then there's panel B, which shows precision medicine. We group patients by common characteristics, and common characteristics meaning genetic markers, and then we give treatments depending upon two different group. So small, medium, large sizes. So it's exactly what the example I showed you before. And then third is the concept of personalized medicine. I am very sure most of you gets always mixed up with the term precision and personalized. There's tiny difference between the two. So now what we are doing in the personalized medicine, we are designing the treatment for subgroup, but based on their disease characteristics, right? In the previous one, the precision, it is a genetic makeup, but in the personalized one, it is a disease makeup. The group of individuals who are having breast cancer categorized as triple negative breast cancer will have a different kind of a treatment to those group of individuals having breast cancer characterized as HER2 positive. So that is the concept of personalized medicine. And that's what the goal is. And again, AI is helping a lot in precision oncology and genomics. I'm just going to give you a few examples from the real world. Sophia Genetics is a company that uses AI and cloud computing to analyze the genomic data from cancer patients. And in I think uh, a conference that I went to, European Society for Medical Oncology, they presented down this research with Astra. They used AI to analyze data from stage 4 non-small cell lung carcinoma patients, and then they again identified subgroups who can benefit most from adding a specific immune therapy to the standard drug that they were given. So this is the power of AI. They are just putting the genomics data, the radiology data, the clinical data, and on top of it, the biology data of how patient is responding, what are the basic biology of a patient, and then finding the precise or rather categorizing the stratifying the population to uh, do this. So, what makes Sophia's platform powerful is that it is connected, it's a connected community. You have hospitals around the world who are contributing data, and then there are AI models who are learning from all of it, while at the same time protecting the privacy of the patient. Because I mentioned about, I told you about the concept of federated learning. And the more, so I want to really pause here and emphasize on one point that if we put our data in silos, we are not helping AI, we are not helping any developmental processes associated with AI. So, more data a AI will see, a machine will see, it will get more smarter, and it will be able to depict better signals and give us a uh, collective intelligence in action. So, this is example of another similar kind of a platform. But again, I want to focus your attention here to this slide. Something very similar that we did for one of the clients at Partex. We took the methylome data, RNA data, and the genomic data, and we stratified the population and in a specific response group and a non-responsive group, and we gave them a panel of biomarkers that they can look for when they are gonna design the drug for their particular indication. I'm sorry, I can't neither name the company or the drug or the indication, but yeah. And I think we all know, we have seen this paper quite some times back, in 2 year back paper, that now you can finish the genome sequencing in 3 hours, and then lot of other things where artificial intelligence has helped in developing the interpretations for or the candidates for rare genetic disorders. So it's because we have fastened the reading of the bulk RNA sequencing data or genomic data with the help of AI. So now we can do or move things pretty faster. So we are coming to the close of the session, and I would like to show you the future of the AI. And actually, it's been very researched upon and talked upon. And I'm very sure the audience over here are very well familiar with the concept of digital twins. It's virtually replica of a patient, and it's created from their genome, medical history, lifestyle data, even sometimes the real data from the wearable devices we are all having these days. And just want you to know if drug A or B will work better for this patient is how you can decide how where you can use this concept of digital twin in situations where patient is like aged or so on and so forth, or have a very critical condition. So it can really help those. And then I would like to complete this presentation with this slide where we talk about the future, which is the real-time genomics, because now we all are understanding the concept of One Health, especially after COVID. It has really taught us the power of real-time genomics. So our health or our entity is influenced not only by the genes in ourselves, but it's basically the global health, global community. We have our biodiversity, zoonotic, different omics for sure, yes, microbiomes and ecosystem and all. And I think To achieve this, it's still far, far, far in future, but we really need to achieve this, and this requires collaboration, data sharing, and sustained investment in genomic infrastructure. And I'll not hesitate to emphasize it again that data sharing and not working in silos is the key pathway to achieve this One Health concept. So to conclude, I would really like to emphasize on the 3 points that view AI not as a separate discipline, but as a transformative tool in your own field, whether it is biotechnology, computer science, or anything, or any regulatory affairs, so on and so forth. Something that can bridge between the lab bench and the computer, who understands both the biology and the power of AI, will be the one who will discover the next generation of life-saving therapeutics. And I cannot limit myself emphasizing on this point as well that it is not the replacement for laboratory science, but it is a partner who is just helping us to move faster to our goal. So with this, thank you very much, and I would really like to take any questions if you have.
Can see the messages, madam.
Yeah, so it's in the chat, right? Yeah.
Yes, 2
So
questions are there.
the one message right now I can see is, where do you think AI will never replace human judgment in drug discovery, no matter how good the models become? Thank you, Pradipti, for this beautiful question. And I can, if you permit, I can just give you a simple story from our own example that we are currently, doing. So we had a client, and we are working for them, and they want a quick antibody for one of their indications, right? And as per them, it has to be like you fill the target name and you get the antibody. We tried helping them with the correct answer. We showed them the entire protocol and everything, and so on and so forth. And yes, they did agree to us. The thing is, as I have shown before, machine learning is something that if you teach a child that don't do this, he or she will not do that. If you teach a child that, do this, an obedient child will definitely do this. Machine learning is something very similar. Whatever you give, it will learn that much only. But whatever it is spitting out, after training, it still need to be passed by a human eye. So a human judgment can never be replaced in drug discovery. No matter how good our models become, we still need to test what AI is doing by doing the in vitro experiments, so on and so forth. And then only it is just accelerating and making the entire process quicker and helping you find the data points or the connections, the dots, faster, because it's otherwise very difficult for one individual or even 10 individuals to look at the vast genomic data or vast biological data and to make a sense out of it. I hope that answers your question, Pradipti. Second question I can see here is from Rajan. Is Innoplex's Partex a German company, and specific tools which Innoplex's offers? Yes, we are registered in Germany, and we have 9 different modules, Rajan, from target identification to indication expansion, clinical trial prediction, antibody engineering. I would really request you to go through our website. We offer a quite different number of services. Will the slides be shared later on? I think Sujit can answer that, and probably if that has to be done, I have to quickly check with my company as well.
Slides are not shared. We'll put up this recording on our channel so they can see the recording.
And what are the most underrated skills a pharmacist or pharmaceutical researcher should develop to collaborate effectively with AI ML teams in drug discovery? That's again a very great question, Pradipti. So, if I understand it quickly, you want to understand most underrated skills. Okay, what one should develop. I think what one should develop is the first and foremost thing as a pharmaceutical researcher is to organize your data very neatly. The more neater it is, the more easily it is for you also to learn AI and use. I think it's more about reading and researching. You can collaborate with different teams who are the expert in AI ML. You can try with your own data sets by learning the basics of AI ML. Trust me, with the advent of all this chatbot and LLMs, it's no difficult for any biologist also to do some bit of coding. But from a pharmaceutical researcher point of view, and that's what I also do, our major job is to clean the data, organize the data in such a way that we can feed the AI ML model the correct information that we really want to have. I'm sorry, there's like long chats, but if anyone has any other question, you can just unmute yourself and speak as well if I have missed any other questions. So recording would be shared, Arya. That's what Sujit mentioned a couple of seconds ago. So, yeah. Any other questions? Looking 10 years, so who is responsible if AI makes a wrong decision in drug discovery? So as I mentioned, Sanika, AI will definitely, or AI may definitely can make a wrong decision. And it is for us as a humans to validate before we simply go with the solution in the market. So it's never that. And I've been quite, protagonist of this, that no, AI can't do everything all by itself. You still have to work. So we have to check the solutions carefully. Looking 10 years ahead, what is one capability you hope AI will bring to drug discovery that currently looks almost science fiction to you? And I think I shared this slides, Pradipti. I'm actually looking forward for the twin health, the twin technology. I think that would be something like a science fiction for me. Ma'am, as a pharmacy student, what core technical skills should I focus on to build a career in AI? Satyajit, I guess I have pronounced your name correct. So Satyajit, I would suggest that you try to incorporate some AI ML based course in your curriculum. I'm very sure what you have been taught in pharma is building your background very solid. But if you top it up with some AI ML model based learning, then you can integrate the two, and you will practically be a great asset. But as a student, Satyajit, I would also like you to understand one thing. Please don't always rely on what ChatGPT and the platforms like that are saying. Please do read the research paper. It is very, very important because these days we are really lacking that, knack of learning from the research papers. Don't leave reading at all. Okay. Which companies are leading in AI-based drug discovery? Gauri, there are lot many companies. I mean, of course, I am from Partix, and I'll say we. But yes, there are lot many companies, natural antibodies, Agnita, and Sophia. I gave you the examples. Lot many. Molecular docking and AI and drug discovery differences. Well, molecular docking is a technique where you are actually practically simulating. So molecular. Previously, what you used to do, you used to use Gromax and different docking platforms to dock the molecule, which was slower. It takes days to complete one docking. Now with the AI technology, you have like GPU computing, heavy computing, so you can fasten everything. You can also use the artificial intelligence and apply how to improve different docking modules, so on and so forth. you can have protein structure from the docking, and then like you can create from alpha fold, and then you can use it for docking with another molecule or protein. So yeah, I think that is how.
Rachna, one question that from the list ones which looks very important, that any validation prior to implementing AI in drug discovery. That's a very good question.
Any validation to prior to implementing AI in drug discovery? I would say again, I'm saying that AI is nothing without data. Data is the fuel for AI. So, as much as validation you can do for your data set that you are injecting into the AI, that would be the great thing in having the correct solution and the precise solution.
So I guess we'll wind up for the day.
Yeah. Thank you, Sujit. It was a great exercise. I just hope that my camera would have been working. But nonetheless, I believe that I have answered most of the questions.
Yes, ma'am. It was really an eye-opening session. I guess the number of questions.
Pradipti had a very interesting question. I think I just saw that when different AI models disagree on the same compound or target, how do you decide whom to trust? Pradipti, that is the see, everything starts with you can't directly build Mercedes. When we had Ambassador in 1950s or something, and then you have the advanced version of some cars or something like that. I hope you understand the sentiment I'm going to. So yes, today you may see this kind of disagreement, and it is again because I am emphasizing again and again that it is the data. So the kind of data you are providing, the kind of answers you will get. So as if people will stop working in silos, will stop holding their data, and will come together as a community where they can feed the correct information and number of information. See, AI won't work on one data points. It needs large data points to understand, to find the patterns, to predict, right? So the more correct information you give, the more precise it will be. There are mathematical terminologies, rather statistical terminologies, where you can look into to understand the graph, whether the data is underfitted and hence the answer is something, or the data is overfitting. So that kind of model definitely you can't trust. If someone's model F1 scores are low, you can't trust. So you have to look into all these factors as well. But again, the base or the end point is the data. So I think that answers your questions, Pradipti.
It's more than the models, AI models. It's the confidence with which the different groups work together. So that's a bigger challenge rather than the models, I guess.
Yes. I mean, you can improve all those scores, F1, AUC, ROC, precision, accuracy, everything you can improve if you just feed the data correctly.
Yes, and ultimately, what one of the questions was that the responsibility should always lie with the humans. Otherwise, then the question of AI taking over everything begins. So ultimately, yes. So I guess we have answered most of the questions. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. I guess it was a great discussion on AI in discovery. You have discussed almost all the aspects. So once again, I'm really sincerely thankful for your time and also sharing your knowledge and experience. Also, thanks to the audience for the number of questions, especially, and or being patient, listening, and in spite of all the hiccups, we had a great session. If there are any questions, you can definitely WhatsApp me. I'll just get back the answers from ma'am. So thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, audience,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, Sujit, for having me, and thank you, audience, very much. Thank you. It
Yes.
was really
Thank you.
nice to chat.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you, ma'am.
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.